I'm going to record and get started right away. So thank you guys. Oh, look, Leslie, you're fast, girl. You followed me. It was on the last call I was on. All right. How's everyone doing? Good? Yay. Carmen, you look so pretty. You look so good. You do. All right. Thanks for being here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 post-it notes. So this is a serious call, guys. 6 post-it notes. Yeah. All right. So we are going to start, first news, we are going to start doing team calls every week. I know we do every other week, but we're going to start doing every other week. We are going to alternate between Megan and I leading the team call and inviting other coaches to help us lead the team call on certain topics. So if there's something that you are passionate about and you would like to talk about, or if I force you to talk about something that I think you should be passionate about, just be prepared for that coming. But we just want to have that option out there. You know, there's always the Team Courage call on Tuesday nights. There's lots of calls, I know, and that's the thing with calls is when we're not on a call, we're not making money. And I know it's not all about money. It's all about saving the world, but we can't save the world without money, just letting you know. So when we're on a call, like we're not inviting, we're not doing our workout, we're not reading personal development. You can count this as personal development for your day. I'll let you do that. But like there's so many other things we should be doing, so I don't want to overwhelm you with that, but we are still going to have calls every week. Hold on, I'm going to mute this person, and just for an extra chance for you guys to plug in. So, okay, so tonight I'm going to dive right in, and what I want to talk about is the fact that you guys know that I like to spin that this business is the vital behaviors, and I just like to talk about it in different ways every week. So that's what I'm going to do this week. It's a recipe. Like Beachbody gives you a recipe that works. Like it's worked for people for many years. Like people are making $1 million after 5-6 years of being in this business. People that started out with it early on are making $1 million because they follow the recipe. Like they don't deviate from the recipe. So some of you have been to Danny Johnson, some of you haven't. Danny Johnson talks about how she has this prize-winning $1 million recipe for cheesecake. If she takes it somewhere, people bid thousands of dollars for it. It's amazing. People want the recipe. And she's even given people the recipe, and then they try to like make it their own. They're like, oh, well, I'm not going to use, Philadelphia cream cheese. I'm just going to use the store brand. And I'm not going to use full fat. I'm just going to use 1/3 the fat. And I'm not going to like grind my own graham crackers. I'm just going to buy the box kind. Well, guess what? It does not come out the same as her $1 million cheesecake. Like it's not going to taste the same as the recipe she provided you. So I think people do that with Beachbody and the vitals and the things we try to teach you, because it's a very simple business. It's a very simple recipe, but we try to like kind of tweak it and make it our own. We're like, well, I don't really need to invite, like, I just need to boost my posts, or I just need to post more on Facebook, like ads, and they'll come to me. And I don't really need to read PD. Like, I'm good. I'm totally perfect. Like, I don't need PD. I don't need to do that. It's a vital for a reason. Like, or I don't have to drink Shakeology. Like, I don't need to be, I know some people can't drink Shakeology. Don't get me wrong there. Like, you can still be a product of the product and you can rock that workout. But are you following a workout from beginning to end and sharing the journey? Like, you guys know that I struggle with this, but at least I share it, which I'm going to get into like on Facebook, as far as how that's my biggest struggle. PD and inviting is not my biggest struggle. It's pushing that play button. It's just so hard to push it. So it's a really simple recipe. It's just, are you following the recipe? So what I want to kind of talk about, and if you want to jump in the chat, I would love it. Or if you want to unmute yourself, go for it. Is what is tripping you up in the recipe? Like, is it, and it can go deeper than just like inviting, like, tell me more. Like, is it, I don't want to be told no, I'm scared to hit send, I don't want to get a rejection? Is it the pushing play and like actually seeing progress and following a program from start to finish, or drinking your shake? Or is it personal development? Do you not like to read, but I could send you some ideas with audios to listen to, or plugging into someone? Because like I said before, like, I'm sorry if you're listening to me, you're not perfect. Like, there is something we can work on. And you guys know that I want you to work on your strengths even more than your weaknesses. I want you to recognize your weaknesses so that we can get a little better at them. But if you, and this comes from John Maxwell, from 1 to 10, 0 to 10, I am like a 3. I might be advanced to a 4 now on organizing, but it's not, Blake. I might be a 4 now. Well, 3.5. Okay, it is not my jam. It is Blaine's jam, is organizing. Like, she likes it. Like, she enjoys it, which I think is odd, but she likes to do that. Like, that's great. She should like get better at that. She should even like read blogs on organizing and like, how can I get better? Like, what container should I recommend? Or like, she should get better at something she's already good at. I'm not good at that. So why am I going to try to go from a 3 to a 10 in organizing? It would take me years to get to where she is, and I don't enjoy it. So why am I going to focus on that? Like, pick out your strengths and focus on that. But let's recognize your weaknesses and like address them, because they might be the one thing that's holding you back. And I will tell you that lack of organization has been holding me back for years, and really handing it over to someone and recognizing the fact that I have looked at my goals I write goals for the year, for the last 2 years, and always on the list is get my life organized. Like, and it's very broad because it's literally my life. It's not my office. It's my life. Like, get organized. And it never happens. It's happening this year, folks. It's happening. So, but it's a process. It's not instant gratification. It doesn't happen in 1 week. It doesn't happen in 1 month. I'm giving myself 2016 to complete the goal. And that's another thing we'll talk about, instant gratification. But it's happening because I finally realized, like, Kimberly, you're not an expert at this. You have to outsource it. So what are you bad at? Like, you can't outsource PD, but you can listen to something for 10 minutes and get it in to become a habit. You can't outsource physical fitness, and you can't outsource drinking your shake. Those are things that you have to do. You can't outsource inviting. Like, that's something that you have to do. I know people that have tried to outsource inviting. It just doesn't work. It's not the same thing. It's not the connection. People want to connect with you. They want to talk with you. So let me read the comments real quick. Krista O'Connor, it's inviting because I'm lazy or find a million other things to do. Okay, so this is one of the things. I wrote down a good quote for you, Krista. I was going to save it to the end, but it's perfect time. It's, a girl boss gets up with a plan and executes it. A girl boss has a plan to get up and execute 10 invites. I mean, that's in a week. Like, a girl boss gets up and says, I am waking up. I am sending 2 invites. I don't care if you're like pooping and sending 2 invites. Like, you get up and you do it. You're brushing your teeth. You already have them on a list. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, bang. I am getting up and I'm executing my invites. Mondays, I'm getting up, I'm executing my invites. Sundays, I have free time in the afternoon. I'm executing my invites. It is a plan. It is in your planner. It's non-negotiable. You are executing them because you are a girl boss, or you're not. And that's the thing. And I know your goals, Krista. And it's not to work in a cubicle the rest of your life. It's not to report to someone. It's not to walk into your boss's office and say, can I have my 5-year plaque, lady? That's not your goal. Your goal is to be a girl boss and to teach people. You're passionate about fitness. You want to teach classes. You want to possibly have your own gym. Like, none of that is going to happen unless you knock out those invites. And it's not a lot, guys. That's the thing. Let's go back to the recipe. It's very simple. Did you do 2 invites today? If you do 2 invites a day, you are inviting 60 people a month, but only if you do it every day. Only if you do it every day and you follow up with those people. That's, that's a whole nother call, but you have to follow up with those people. All right, let me see the other one. It always comes back to time management with me. I know what I need to do. I just don't plan all the time to do it. My biggest area would be the product of the product. Okay, so same quote on the beginning, Carmen. A girl boss gets up with a plan and executes it. Like, write that down, guys. Like, I have stickies all over the place in my office now. It's like a girl boss gets up and executes the plan. A girl boss does not get up and say, I don't feel like it today. I don't know what I'm going to do today. Like, she has a plan. And part of my sticky note amazing speech here is that a lot of this can be done in 30 minutes. If you've been coaching a little longer, I'm going to ask you to put in an hour. If you have a team of 10, 20, 100 people, it's going to take a little more time. It just depends where you are. But when you are starting out and you are building a team and you are building a group of challengers, the things that I am asking you to do can be done in 30 minutes, not counting your workout. So the second part of that is being a product of the product, to Carmen. We have to, me and you both, you have to commit to a program and you have to do it. So I committed to this pre-test group before Hammer and Chisel, and then I committed to Hammer and Chisel. Hammer and Chisel has like totally fizzled for me the last couple weeks, and it's more of it's like 50% excuses, 50% health issues. I do want to say, like, yesterday and today are the best that I have felt in a really long time, which is exciting. And I'm starting to share that more on my social media, like what's been going on with me. And the fact that I have to start the conversation on social media saying like, okay, FYI, for a year, I've kind of felt like poo, is ridiculous. Like, it's exactly what I don't want you to do. A year ago, I should have said, I'm just not feeling like myself, and been talking about it. But in our heads, we're thinking, I don't want to complain on social media. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on social media. But now that I'm talking about it, all of a sudden people are like, I'm going through that too. Like, maybe we can work out this together. Or maybe I'm learning things from people about what's going on. And it's just a part of sharing our crap, basically, is what I've been learning. Like, it's like we all have crap and we just need to share it on social media. So the product of the product, like you do, Carmen, we have to commit to a program like, hey, we're going to do Hardcore 22. It's coming out. We're doing it. Like, who wants to do it? Anyone want to do it with me? 22 minutes. Yay! Like, we just have to commit to it and we have to do it like every day. And will there be mess-ups and will there be things that happen? Yes, unless you're Blaine and then you do your workout every day. But in most cases, things happen and we just have to push through that. And I get that. But to have a group of all of us doing the same program is really, really powerful. And that only comes up every once in a while when a program's released. So let's make this our opportunity, everyone on the call, like, to invite to that group. And it comes out March 1st. Like, let's set a date. Like, it should probably be March 22nd, because then we can do this more on ads. But yeah, I think that's what it should be. Is that a good day to start? I think so. So let's all do that together. Like, let's commit to it beginning and end, and it be a hardcore test group, and we hashtag it and we share it. And like, that becomes part of your identity on Facebook. Like, she is doing this program. And I do share my results from Hammer and Chisel. I just need to share more of my struggles through it. I get caught up in like, are you a fitness coach or are you not? And it's hard, but I am who I am. So, okay. I did sit down and get 15. Good, Krista. Yay, Krista. Okay. So the recipe, we talked about, like, try to figure out what part of the recipe that you're struggling on. So one of the things that I didn't talk about so far in the recipe is social media. This is where a lot of people are struggling in the recipe, whether you're willing to admit it or not. And I know it's not a vital behavior, but it is the fourth vital behavior, or you do have to share every vital behavior through social media. So the fact is, if you are being a product of the product, and you are reading personal development, and you do have challengers, and you do have coaches, and you are making progress in your business, like there's always something to share on social media. You're sharing your life. Where it comes down to an issue is, what are you sharing on social media? Are you sharing surface posts, or are you sharing deeper posts? So this is something that Brenda was on this call with me with Summer recently, and this was a huge aha moment for me. And Brenda, if you want to talk on any of this, feel free. But I was like, yeah, I post a lot of surface crap, but I have a lot of real crap. Like, I have real crap. And what real crap is talking deeper about yourself. So I wrote down some examples of things, and I posted this in a group that it's the Danny group. So people that have been to Danny Johnson in the last month can be in this group. And I know Brenda and I are in this group. And I wrote this post, and I said, just in this group, and I said, like, these are the things that have happened to me in the last, let's see, I've been married 12 years. So let's say the last 15 to maybe 18 years, like 20 years. I don't know. You could even start, I graduated from high school 20 years ago. I kind of talk about that because I'm planning my 20th year reunion. That's not crap, but anyways, it is crap that I'm that old. But in that time, I filed for bankruptcy. I lost my dad 6 weeks before I got married. My dad and I didn't have a great relationship when he died, so that's been kind of heavy on my heart for many, many years. He died in a car accident, so it was out of nowhere. I had a rocky marriage from year 7 to, now I'm trying not to cry. I always cry. Year 7 to probably 9 or 10, and I'll be married 12 years. 9, I'll say 9. I'll be married 12 years this year. So it's like, you always remember the last few years and things are good, but you forget, like, I did go through a good 2-3 years where things were difficult or hard, and the D word did come up. Like, things like that did come up. Parenting issues that you might have, or issues with your children that you might have, issues with faith. I know people that have, not me personally, but have gone like in and out of churches for certain reasons. Like, this is like money, relationships, your past, your present, things you're going through. This is like crap that you guys have that you don't want to share on social media. And I get that. But this was a really good talk about the difference between, it's really about who you want to attract. So if you want to build a business and you want to attract surface people that are then going to come onto your team and be surface people and never really build a relationship with you, or be able to open up with you, or be willing to grow through personal development with you, that's what you're going to attract. Yeah, we need to share recipes and do all that. I shared Carmen's recipe today. Like, it's a good one. I get a lot of engagement on recipes. I'll probably keep doing that. But if I want to attract deeper people, I need to open up about myself. Krista, you could go on for a while on this, girl. You got some crap. We all do, though. Like, that's the thing. We all, like, I was listening to this thing, I don't really have that much crap. And when I sat there and then wrote it all down, I was like, oh yeah, I got some crap to talk about. Like, and the people in the group, it was funny, that think that they know me or are around me a lot, to say, like, I had no idea. Like, I had never heard that story. I don't know that story. And my bankruptcy story is not one that I'm ashamed to share. And I should, because it was out of, like, like, I graduated from college, and a year later I moved across the country from Texas to North Carolina and opened my own business when I was 23 years old. I should talk about that. Did it lead to a bankruptcy 2 years later? Yes. Did that stop me from wanting to be an amazing girl boss the rest of my life? No, it didn't. But I can still talk about the process and what I learned from it, and what I learned, how it affected my relationships, how it affected my credit, how I got through that to help other people that might be going through the same thing, is my point. Someone out there is going through the same thing that you are, or that you have. I don't care if it's daddy issues or related to your weight or abusive relationships or going through a bankruptcy or your own personal marriage. I've heard women open up about issues with parenting, like that they don't think they're a good mom or that they've done this. Like I've heard some really raw stories where I'm like, wow, like I'm shocked that she shared that. But you know what? She related to someone is the point. So that's a whole social media thing. That's pretty deep and out there, but it's really a good way for you guys to look at what are you sharing? Are you sharing a picture and saying #truth? Like, what does that mean? What does that mean, people? Like, truth on what? Like your Pinterest post? Like, what does that mean? Why do you like this post? Like, why does this relate to you? Because when you like a post like that, it's for a reason, and it's probably to do with some crap in your life, honestly. Like when something speaks to you or a quote resonates with you, why do you like it? Because it's time to share that story in social media, and you're going to start attracting a totally different group of people when you do that. And I believe that. Okay, so on that note, I wrote, people won't open up to you till you open up to them. And that's great. Like, until I share more with you guys, you're not going to share more with me. And that's how you build relationships within a team and just starting out with challengers. Like I got on the phone with a challenger the other day, and we ended up having so much in common, even though I met her from my like page. And she makes cakes. Like I had a chocolate business before this, I still do, but like we just had a lot in common. Like she has 2 boys, I have 3 boys. Like she had this outrageous sweet tooth when she started, and Shakeology has helped the first 30 days. That's the first thing it helped me with. And she was going to quit after 30 days. And she said, can I talk to you on the phone? And I said, absolutely. So we got on the phone, and she was like, I've decided I'm not going to quit. Like, I want to keep going. Like, how does this work? Blah, blah, blah. And she's going to keep going. And I had totally prepared myself for that she wasn't, but that didn't take any less attention away from her during her 30 days, nor would it take any attention away from her if she wanted to continue 30 days without Shakeology. Like, she's still a person. She's not commission or number. She's a person that needs help. So am I excited she's continuing? Absolutely, because it's helping her. And I like to have those stories. So, but it's, we opened up to each other, and she was able to share a lot more with me, which was nice. So let me see what else. Recipe, girl boss. Oh, this quote, you can't duplicate what you're not. So if you want your coaches, and if you don't have a coach, when you do have coaches, if you want your coaches to be like you, what are you like? Do you want your coaches to be like you? Oh, I see that look, Krista. I see you looking at me. I mean, do you, and I've heard this before, like, do you go to bed and say, if my team did what I did today, would they be successful? Or if I did what my team did today, would I be successful? Like, if you want your coaches to do what you're doing, is that going to make you successful? Like, you cannot teach things that you do not do. You can't. And I can give you a perfect example. I have a hard time sometimes keeping people on Shakeology. And I didn't in the beginning. And you know why I didn't in the beginning? Because I followed a program beginning to end. I posted every single day. I was so consistent with my journey. I was on my game. And you can't be on your game all the time. It's not a reason to quit by any means. But when I slip, or as time goes by, or it's been 3 years now and I have hard times, or I have difficulties, or I make excuses, I absolutely make excuses. When that happens, like, I see that people that drop off of Shakeology, it's because of me. They're duplicating me. Like, I am not being a product of the product, or I'm not being an example. So they don't think that they need to be either. So there's a direct reflection on me. So if you have coaches in this business and they aren't inviting, or they aren't starting coaches right or whatever they're not doing, you have to look back at, you might be doing it correctly now. Like sometimes I'm like, but I'm doing that. I'm inviting, I'm doing this, I'm sharing this, I'm sharing that. Why doesn't everyone do it? You do have to take in fact the 80-20 rule. 20% of your people are going to bring in 80% of your business. That's just a fact. Like 20% of your coaches are going to be your producers. That doesn't mean you don't love the other 80%, but those 20% deserve your attention. I'm going to tell you that. The 20% that are bringing in the business deserve your attention. They really do, because they're trying and they're doing what they need to be doing. Everyone has an off month. I'm not saying that, but if you look at a 6-month period, you know who's showing up to team calls. You know who's listening to the recordings. You know who's plugging in the national wake up call. You know who's participating in the team page. You know who's participating in trainings. You know who's getting Success Club points. You know when people are inviting. I know when people are inviting, when they're sending me their responses and their objections, because I give every coach the opportunity to do that with me. And if you want to send me, anyone on this call, you want to send me a response or an objection that you need help with in a private message, I know that you're inviting. Because if you're inviting, you're going to get those. When I don't get those messages, I know it's because they're not inviting. Because there's no way you can invite 60 people in a month and not get one response or one objection. It's never happened. It doesn't happen. So send them to me, because I know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and that you're looking for help and to grow. One thing that I was going to say I haven't got cut off yet, and then here it came up. Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about as far as those things, like what's holding you back in the recipe. So let me read all this too. So now I have to every day. Yes, you have to repeat it every day. So one thing that didn't come up that I wanted to make sure I touched on is a lot of people throw out the time excuse. And well, it's not an excuse, Carmen. I know you have a full-time job, but time is an issue. So it goes back to the girl boss quote. A girl boss gets up with a plan and executes it. But time is a decision, guys. So same as making time to work out. It's the same as making time for your business. And that goes back to that 30 minutes or an hour. That's all you have to do. So time is a decision. Like when people tell you like that you're inviting, I just don't have, or inviting to coaching or inviting to challenge groups, like I don't have time for this. One thing that I started doing, and I tell people this and call them out on it, I said, okay, I used to say this too. And what I've done is I replaced the word time with priority. And I see if it makes sense. So instead of saying I don't have time to work out, I say it's not a priority for me to work out. It's a little eye-opening. I don't have time to send 2 invites, which takes about 120 seconds, FYI. It's not a priority for me to send invites. Time cannot be an excuse when it comes to inviting, guys. It's 120 seconds out of your day to send 2 invites. That is not a time thing. That is, you have to dig deeper and you have to tell me if it's fear of rejection, if you're scared, if you don't want to get a no, if you don't want to know how people really think about you, if you think people are going to unfriend you, because it's not a time issue, because it takes 120 seconds to send 2 invites, and that's being generous. So time is a decision of what you consider a priority. If you consider growing a business and focusing on your why, whether that's leaving your job, a lot of my coaches' cases, it's leaving your job, whether it's paying off debt, whether it's saving for a vacation, whether it's just having a little more cushion room and to pay your bills, to feel like you're contributing to your family, or because you feel called to do this. You feel called to be more than whatever it is you are now. And that's not lessening whatever it is. But personally, I have no problem saying that I started a business right out of college because I feel called more than to do the position I was doing for a year working for someone else. I then had 3 babies, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and that was a wonderful thing, and I was blessed that I could stay at home. But I started a chocolate business because I felt called to do more. Like, I wanted to contribute more to my family. Like, I know that I'm a girl boss. Like, I know that I'm supposed to be a leader, that I'm supposed to be not the boss of you, but I can be the boss of you. Looking at you again, Krista. Like, I just want to help people. Like, I am not meant to work for other people. It doesn't go well. I've tried a couple of times. It's not a good combination. So like, I just have more of a calling for that. Like, it wasn't a money thing for me. So my why and vision took longer. So expect that with yourself or with other coaches. Like, you don't have to know what your why or vision is. And guess what? Your why and vision can change tomorrow. And your why and vision will change next year. Like, it'll turn into different things. Like, at first it might be, I want to leave my job, or I just want to be surrounded by this community. Like, that's one of my big things. I know a lot of you guys have heard that before. Like, I just love the community. I am a true sapphire. I want to be around people. I want to have fun. I want to go to events. I want to be in the action. And this community does it for me, because you're in the action with positive people. I have been in the action before with not the same group of people, guys. You can get involved in your community, in the action, and in events, and in your pool or your country club or your fundraiser going on, and they will not be the same group of people. They're not all positive. They don't read PD. They don't exercise. They don't nourish their body with healthy foods. It's not the same group of people. This group of people is positive, uplifting, takes care of themselves, fuels themselves. Who would not want to be around us? Like, we are amazing, right? Like, we are just these amazing people, though, that I want to continue to be around. And they still let me go out and eat nachos sometimes. Like, I love them. So I don't even know what I was talking about when we were talking about that. We were talking about time, but the time issue, it change it with priority and see how that works for you. Like, I don't have time to do this, or like, I'm so busy, I don't have time to do this. No, it's just not a priority for you. You have time for it because you made time to get your workout in. You made time to watch The Bachelor. I'm not knocking The Bachelor, because sometimes Summer does that. I'm like, hey, The Bachelor is pretty cool. But if it comes down to your business and your vitals and like what you're making time for, just be real with yourself and ask yourself, is it a time thing, or is it like not really a priority? And then you just need to reevaluate your why. So the last thing I'll leave you with, and this was literally like 30 minutes of the call, Brenda knows, that Summer did recently, but she talked about how we have 4 layers of, or people have 4 layers of their soil, basically. If you look at yourself as soil, and the first one would be hard, the second one would be rocky ground, the third one is thorns, and she didn't give a name to the fourth unless you caught it, Brenda, but I was just going with it's a fertile soil, like it's ready to plant. So we all, and this is something that came from Danny Johnson that I've never heard in any of the events that I've been with her, but it was great. And it's funny, it's possible she could have talked about it and I just didn't catch it, or I don't remember it, but there are a lot of people that have this very, and you're going to fall into one of these categories, and it's really important to know the coaches you bring on fall into one of these categories. A lot of people have a very hard soil, meaning anything you give them, like personal development or do this, do that, like it just bounces right off. Like, you can't plant the seed. You can't get it in there because it's just so hard. They're so angry. And these are the people that have a lot of crap like a lot of crap to dig through. And what they need more than anything is personal development. Like, we have to be the people that bring them to personal development, whether that's through introducing faith to their life, whether that's taking them to some kind of personal development event like Danny Johnson or John Maxwell, but it's introducing that into their life so you can make that soil a little softer so they can actually absorb something. Because without that, they're not, you know, I know you've met people like this where it's just like, they're so negative. They have something yucky to say to everything. They're the ones posting on Facebook, like, I'm like, she's not on this call. She's not going to be on this call. But someone in my news feed posted something about just going off about the school administration and the cars they drive and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't comment, but I just wanted to say, like, well, then maybe you should join the school board. Maybe you should do this. Like, maybe you should be proactive instead of just complaining about it all the time. Like, those people have a very hard soil. Rocky ground, you can get a little in there, but these are the coaches. I'm going to get cut off, which sucks. We'll do a whole call on this. These are the coaches that you plant something and they have a really good month. They might even hit Success Club their first month. And then someone tells them, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do your stupid challenge group. And they quit. Because they're like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to have rejection in my life. I don't have time for this. Like, they have very little. Like, they can do the basics of what you tell them to do, but then they have so much crap underneath that they can't deal with rejection. They can't deal with no. They can't deal with the not instant gratification. They can't give something 3, 6, 9, 12 months. Like, they can't do it because they have too much crap to dig through. The next one is thorns. You have someone that is in it for 6 months, maybe even a year.